Thanks be to God. Okay, this T-shirt was given to me, and if I walk in front of these speakers, y'all will be sorry because it'll squeal, but I want you to see it. But it says, it has Jesus, and he has his head down a little bit, and he says, "I never said that." It's from Jonathan Sal, my brilliant eye surgeon who takes care of me, but he's a funny guy. I've got tons of these T-shirts. I don't know where to wear them. I'm afraid if I wear them in public, somebody will hit me or something. What are you, you don't like Jesus? I love Jesus. My point this morning is it's fascinating the things that we say that Jesus said. He didn't say that. Or he didn't say it in the language he said it in. I promise you that. And I've been doing this 40-something years, way longer than you want to know. And every time I go back and look again, I think, what in the world? Because the Aramaic of his day, translated into the Greek, is so often fascinating. The most subtle thing is what is going on. And that's what's happening today. This is subtle, and this is the best news you're going to hear this morning, I promise you, anywhere, because it's the words of Jesus. So let me tell you a story to get to this stuff about weeds. You have gardens? Good gracious. This time of year with as much rain we have, my yard that used to have fescue now has weeds. Lots of weeds. I lived across the street from where the Sylvies used to live, and they used to duck their head and not look at my yard when they drove out of the driveway. I know because he was always putting water out. So we have a farm, blessed to have a farm place that's kind of now a retreat. We've got a couple of 100 acres, and it's in the country. It's on the border of Louisiana and Arkansas on State Line Road. It's my wife's family, and we've been tending it, really taking care of it for 40 years and get to go over there and retreat. But we're always doing a lot of hard work, and Lois, you ought to see Lois on a zero-traction X-Mark, man. She can fly on this thing. She can ride that machine. But we do a lot of work there, and we have a beautiful pond, so we're up on top of the hill, and it's kind of magic. You get to the top of the hill, and all of a sudden, there's an outhouse and this beautiful kind of a studio and this beautiful pond. You don't even know it's there. It's hidden from the world. We have our own little place. But always around that pond, these weeds start growing in the summertime where you can't see the water. And they get bigger and bigger. And it looks beautiful because it looks like something like the top of asparagus, that beautiful little fern-looking stuff. Well, I was committed last year, they're leaving. So I go down there you can't ride a mower against it. I can't get it, it's too wet. So I have a big push mower, big powerful push mower. So I get down there, I start mowing this thing, and I get one row done, and I'm thinking, man, I'm starting to itch. I get another row done, I think, I'm starting to burn. And I mean, I'm burning from here to there to my feet. And I'm thinking, holy smokes, what's happened? And finally, it's burning so bad, I just stop. I race to the house. Lois watches me dash past her. I'm stripping my clothes off, jump in the shower, get a bar of lava soap, and 15 minutes later, I'm comfortable again. That stuff, whatever it secretes when you cut it, I'm telling you, it was all over me. It will be a freeze frame. Well, I promise you, we cut it this year. You couldn't see me. I was so covered. What was interesting is this year, do you know what I noticed that I've never seen before among those weeds? The prettiest wildflowers I've ever seen in my life. These little blue, Lois probably knows what they are. They're gorgeous. And I said, let's not cut those down. And so we tried to cut around them. But you know, it's hard work. It was hard to do. And this story, literally, I was thinking about the parables in my brain a few weeks ago, and I was thinking, gosh, that's what it's like. You know, the weeds do grow up right in the midst of all the good stuff of life. If you will go back and look at this passage in the 13th chapter of Matthew, it will do your heart good. It will do your life good. Because you know what it is? It's what we don't expect. Jesus is actually saying something bluntly honest about life. The weeds grow up in the midst of all the good stuff of life. If you don't pay attention, then everything is about the weeds. Is that not right? Have you been stuck in a place where everything was weeds? I sure have. I've been in one recently. Literally, everywhere I turned, it was like a weed. Our culture is stuck on the weeds, by the way. Do not miss it. I'm going to say it again. Do not miss where our culture is. You can choose to go there if you want to. Everything's bad. Everything's terrible. Everything's this. Everything's that. And then you miss that in the worst of times, in the hardest place, in the darkest place, there's something lovely happening to you or to someone near you, someone you love. Period. Period. Jesus is saying the weeds and the wheat grow up together. Leave it alone. Now, he's a realist. He kind of said the enemy planted them. You realize he's being tongue-in-cheek? By the way, Jesus had a great sense of humor. You just don't catch it in English. You catch it in his own Aramaic. He's kind of saying, seriously, you think somebody threw those bad seeds down in there? It just happens. The birds carry stuff. You know, animals carry things on their fur. The weeds grow up in the midst of the best of stuff. You're not going to separate it. And I'm going to tell you that most of you, me included, and I have perpetuated some of this. The church has spent a ton of time focusing on your weeds. The church spends an inordinate amount of time focusing on your weeds and mine, so that becomes the preoccupation. We are here to morally take care of the weeds of life. And if you want to do that all the time, I say have at it. But I've been in rebellion about that for 20 years now. And I realize there's something different. Jesus really is trying to say, live a good life. Do about the weeds when you need to, because I promise if you don't, they will hurt you. I got in those weeds and I had to scrub them off. You have to do something about the weeds of life. And you know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to go into that. That'll give you a headache and me a headache. We all have weeds. It's just part of the deal. But there is another deeper, more vibrant peace. Can't you feel it this morning? This sense of peace. This sense of connection. The truth of it is, we are so dissimilar one to another, it's not even funny. But there is some kind of spiritual thing that draws us into one place. You can have that, and I can have that when I pay attention to that. And that is God literally being with us. And we try to manufacture it. We try to improve it. We try to erase all the bad stuff so God appears. You missed it. God is always there. That is actually the gospel. Regardless of what you do, have done, can't do, won't do, God is still always there. But if we focus on the weeds, it's as if we have created those weeds, and it's as if we get rid of the weeds, the other stuff will appear. The other stuff, the good stuff is always there. I'm going to leave you with a thought. It's a funny thought, strange thought maybe to you. Wasn't to me this morning. As I thought about it, I was thinking about it as I was driving. I got up super early and I was thinking, there was a song in my brain. Now, see, if Tom Rasnick was here, he'd already played you the song. So you may have to think about it in your head. But it's Earth, Wind, and Fire. One of my favorite. If I put it on, y'all all be up dancing. I promise. Even those of you who can't dance would be up dancing. Even John Melnick would be dancing. We would be dancing. But their song was this: that's the way of the world. That's the way of the world. Plant your flower and grow a pearl. A child is born with a heart of gold. Hearts of fire create love. So simple. So simple. Embrace the simple today. Amen.